Good evening, wonderful people, great Biafrans, wherever you are on the face of this very planet. We welcome you to another exciting address from the Holy Land of Israel on this very day. Today is the 20th. No, sorry, it's the 19th, isn't it? Yes, it's been a very long day for me. It's the 19th day of January. Very holy Shabbat day today. The time now is 11 minutes past the hour of 7 p.m. here, which I imagine should be approximately the same number of minutes past the top of the hour in Biafra land and wherever you are on the face of this very planet. I welcome you. And as I welcome you, I ask you to welcome everybody around you, your family, your friends, your relatives, even the enemies of the restoration of Biafra. I strongly recommend that you get them to listen to this very broadcast this evening. My name is Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, the director of Radio Biafra and Biafra Television, and I serve the wonderful people of Biafra by the grace of Elohim. As always, and as it is customary, here on Radio Biafra, we must dedicate this very presentation, present it to Chukwokika Biama Purumiyanina, that his blessing and his guidance will be upon us, those of us here in the studio, because Ikechukwu is here handling the systems, and all of you all over the world who are listening to us. We must pray. Hear our voice, O Elohim. In our prayers and in our supplications, you must preserve our life from fear of the enemy, because they abound, especially those who are within, the enemies that pretend they are friends, but indeed are working against the restoration of your kingdom upon the face of this very earth in Biafra land. Hide us from the secret counsel of the wicked, because they pretend they come, they say they are part of us, they say they are one of us. After some time, they capitulate to the demon of avarice within them. From this insurrection of the workers of iniquity, you must please shield and prevent us from falling into their trap and into their net. Their tongue sometimes is like a sword. They bend their bows to shoot the arrows, even very bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the very perfect people of IPOB. But suddenly, do they start shooting at those of them that have the restoration of Biafra in heart and in mind. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? We shall confuse them. We shall pretend we are part of IPOB, but we are working for APC. We are working for politicians. At the right time, we shall decamp before elections, that we may confuse and sow seeds of discord amongst them. Children of iniquity, they pretend they are hardcore, but they are not. They spread lies and falsehood. They search out iniquities even where there is none. They accomplish a very diligent search for the inward thought of man, and the heart is very deep. But Elohim shall destroy them, because the arrow which they shoot suddenly has become their plague. So it shall fall upon them. Even their own tongue shall twist, and everyone that sees them shall flee from them. We bring curse upon them, and all men are afraid, and they shall declare the work of Elohim, for we have wisely considered all he's doing. The righteous in IPOB shall be glad in Elohim. We shall continue to trust in Chukwukikabiama, and all the upright in heart shall glorify in the coming of Biafra. But destruction shall be the portion of those who have come to lie, to deceive, and to cheat their way into this very noble cause, that they may endear themselves to politicians. We pray that Chukwukikabiama will accept our prayers, that Chukwukikabiama will listen to our supplication and grant us his mercy. Give us strength and fortitude, but above all, give us wisdom, intelligence, and understanding as it used to be, that we may walk diligently and tirelessly towards the restoration of his kingdom upon the face of the earth, to the eternal glory of his name, now and forevermore, we pray. He said, this evening's program, as always, has been designed to enlighten our people, to bring us into the knowledge of what we are doing to restore Biafra. They have come from everywhere. They've been lying dormant for years, waiting for elections to come so they can spring up and peddle themselves about as social influencers. They come pretending they are part of us, but they are not. And they can never be. Some of them are beginning to unravel. Their colors are beginning to show. They have decided to become merchants of lies, deception, and deceit. But this very evening, from this very holy land of Israel, we shall tear them apart and shred them to pieces, to show them for what they are, that they are nothing. They can yap and gossip all they like, they are nothing. We have fought great battles, and we have won all of them. If the broadcast by Wobosi is riling them, then after this program this evening, they will have no choice than to go and commit suicide, because we can assure them that IPOB is here to stay, and we are going to boycott the elections. No amount of lies and spinning what I have said on this hallowed platform will change that very fact. We will boycott elections unless they accede to our demand. Have that in your skull, have that in your brain. Unless they agree to what we are telling them, we shall boycott, and I'm sure they are not stupid. They know the consequences of it. I know that some of them have been gossiping all over the place, saying better where are their PVCs and all the nonsense they've been talking about. Why talk to IPOB when they have no PVC? But they forgot very cleverly that we are all IPOB. Those with PVC and those without. We are all IPOB. That is something they must understand and have it drilled into their thick skulls, because they don't get it. IPOB is everywhere. Both those that have and do not have, they are all part of this glorious family. So we decide what happens. And we have decided that we're going to boycott the elections. Okay, Zipazi will leave, and so will Dave Umahi. It's as simple as that. We cannot allow people who specialize in the killing of our people to remain in office. If you cannot understand this very simple logic, may the good Lord have mercy upon your wretched soul, because it means you don't have what it takes to be intelligent enough to be in IPOB. We must proceed. I welcome you wherever you are. I must say good evening to all of you fellow Biafrans and lovers of freedom all over the world. We are going to address a lot of issues, and I've asked Ikechukwu to prepare. Do you have questions for me? Very difficult questions. I don't want the soft ones. Very hard questions. That's what I want to answer this very evening. We shall address a number of issues and doubts regarding our determination to boycott the forthcoming elections, and why. Let me repeat it very clearly. Why we must remove Okezipa and Dave Umahi from office for the abominable crimes they committed against our people through the various military invasions of our land, they themselves instigated through Operation Python Dance. Some of the wretched souls that are grooming up, they have been issuing statements. We don't know who they are. They say they are an Igbo group, but we are IPOB. So we surpass each and every one of them. They said we should leave Umahi alone and Okezibazo. And I said to them, have you held somebody before who has been shot by the Zoo military? Has anybody stopped breathing on your arms before? Have you had to administer first aid to a victim of a bullet wound from the zoo? Have you been attacked before? Have you smashed any convoy before of the zoo military? What have you done? Do you know the sins of Umahi and Okezibazu? Do you even understand why we are boycotting the elections? Do you understand it at all? Some of you don't, and I'm here to clarify that this very evening. You know what I call we are not in IPOB to become professional freedom fighters. Some of you specialize in yapping and in gossiping and in selling information to the zoo. That is all you specialize in. You pretend you're part of us, but in actual fact, all you do is sell information to the zoo. That was why Biafra collapsed between 67 and 70, due to the preponderance of traitors and saboteurs. We are determined. I am determined that the same fate will not befall this segment of this very noble effort to restore Biafra to its full glory. Therefore, we must proceed and we must continue. Politicians have gone to market. They have recruited some of you, paid you large sums of money. You have convinced them that you are influencers so that you can be paid to attempt to confuse or to sow seeds of discord within IPOB. I feel sorry for those who must have fallen for their scam. It reminds me of what I was told happened during the November 2017 elections that we boycotted in Anambra, that saw the zoo return Obiano to office. I was told that some people accepted 2,000-3,000 naira to go out and vote in Anambra. I saw the clips and I saw the footage. And I said to myself that these cannot be IPOB, because anything we are going to do, we say it up front. And we give reasons as to why we're going to do it. I know that some of you are in APC, some of you are in PDP, some of you have been paid by the politicians to try to sway our decision one way or the other. But let me remind each and every one of you listening this evening that the decision to boycott elections in the zoo started since 2015. It did not start today. Since 2015, it started. That is something you must know. And until they accede to our demand, we will boycott the presidential elections. We will boycott every other election. But Okezi Basu must go. So will Dave Umahi. For the abomination and the unpardonable crime they committed on our land. You must understand this. You must ask yourselves this question this evening. What became of the families of those slaughtered at National High School? Or some of you have forgotten that under this Okezi Bazu, the army went to National High School in Aba and slaughtered people. You have forgotten. If you don't know about this very incident, I'm sure that Buhari, when he was alive, was asked the same question on Al Jazeera. Denise, who was the journalist interviewing him, asked him to look at the video, and he refused to look at the video of the massacre at National High School in Aba. Some of you have cleverly forgotten. You have forgotten about the Boro pit in Aba, where they dumped our people and poured that seed on them. Have you not seen our brother who comes on Facebook all the time appealing for help because he was bathed in acid? You have all forgotten all of a sudden, and you call yourselves freedom fighters. With very fickle brains, you don't remember things that happened to your own people. You have forgotten about the slaughter at Okwa, the mass grave that was discovered last year. Have you all forgotten? Are you telling me that the man responsible for all these heinous crimes should be allowed to remain in office? Are we daft or what? Are we that stupid? We said we're not going to vote. That is true. Yes, I said so. And we are not going to, but we shall remove Ibazu. We are IPOB. We own the land. We shall remove him and Dave Umahi. Were you at my place when it was invaded? Somto was there, Musi Sabo was there, and a few other people as well. Were you there when they came and killed 28 of us? Invaded my house and tried to kill me and my family? You're telling me that the man that did such a thing should be allowed to remain in office? Are we that stupid that we cannot reason anymore? So you don't know if that they remain in office, it will embolden the rest. They will do worse when they get in. Don't you know that? Are we that daft that we don't understand this very simple arithmetic? We left them alone to do their politics. We boycotted the elections in Anambra. We did in 2015 as well. But they are the ones looking for our trouble, encroaching into our territories, killing us because they know that if we retaliate in the open, they know if we retaliate in the open, that will be an excuse for the caliphate to unleash jihad on our people. And if some of you cannot sustain the heat of ordinary election boycott, how can you sustain a war? That was why Southern Sudan succeeded in being independent, and we did not succeed. The same people now on Facebook and social media yapping rubbish into your ears were the ones responsible for the collapse. Their fathers were the ones responsible for the collapse of Biafra in 1970. They told Ojukwu to stop fighting. They told Effiong, oh, don't worry, we cannot bear this pain anymore. You must surrender. When Onwatuegu said, let's go to the bush and fight a guerrilla war, they formed BOFF, BOF, as some of them may know, or some of you may know if you've read it. They said, no, we are tired of fighting. Compare that with Southern Sudan that fought Sudan for 30 years. Today they are free, not minding the internal squabbles that they have, which is normal. It's just a feeding problem that comes with a new nation. That is the stuff that IPOB is made up of. We are here to fight this very battle and to win it. All the way through, we have fought countless battles and we have won. We are also going to win this one. This very broadcast is for IPOB, especially all over the world, and Biafrans in particular, for them to understand what faces us. We are not doing buying and selling here. Not profit and loss. Today you do something and tomorrow you get it. Look at the same saboteurs that flood baby Sabo, of course. I need to give them the feeding bottle. They need warm milk. They buy them data, and they are trying to convince people that have gone to battle before with the zoo when they have done nothing. Absolutely nothing. Can you compare what we have done with what they too have done? The answer is no, because there is no basis for comparison. This is something you must understand. The politicians and especially the corrupt ones, they're on the warpath. They have recruited their people. It's election time, of course. Some of them are looking for money to complete their houses. Some of them are looking for money perhaps to pay their rent. So they will do everything humanly possible to serve the interest of the politicians within their midst. But initially when they came to us, they never told us that they were here to serve the purpose or to serve the mission of zoo politicians. And we know them. And one by one, they shall fall by the wayside. That is something that we ought to understand, and that is something that should guide us as we proceed this very evening with this very broadcast. It has come to my attention, of course, that some people may have elected to misinterpret what I have been saying regarding election boycott. The same way some Lagos Badogota media attacked my expose on Buhari, but today everything I said about the impostor Jubril is unraveling. Just before we came on air this evening, this news broke. Quite funny, isn't it? I read it for you. It's a quote from a publication. President Buhari will not participate in the presidential debate. The good works he has done in 3.5 years is there for all to see. And again, the mammoth crowd that greets him in all the states he has gone to campaign is an indication he has the mandate of 90% of Nigerians to return. This is from the oracle of lies himself, Lai Mohammed. Now you begin to appreciate what I'm saying. I told you here, I don't know if you can recall, I told the world here that Jubril will not attend the debate. Did I say that or not? I told you that Jubril will no longer wave his hands in public. Has he been waving any hands in public? I told you he will not remove his cap. I told you that I explained all these things to you live on air from here, the studios of Radio Biafra in Israel. Some of you thought I was joking, and today it has happened once again. And you don't ask yourself questions. I see things that people cannot see. We understand what we are doing more than any other soul on the face of this very earth. If you know the obstacles we encounter all over the world as we lobby people, then you will feel sorry for Biafra. Some of you don't know what we are in for. We have seen it, and we are battling it on a daily basis. Battling it on a daily basis, and we shall overcome each and every one of the obstacles that enemies have set before us. Anything we ask you to do, you must do it. Because everything we've asked you to do before has led us positively forward towards attaining our goal, which is the restoration of Biafra. What does the issue of Jubril tell you? It goes to confirm with Lai Mohammed saying that Jubril will not attend this very debate. It goes to the heart of what I've been telling you, that Jubril will never ever participate in the presidential elections because he's not Buhari. I outlined every scientific evidence in the book. I did everything to try to convey to the whole world that Buhari is dead and Jubril is there. But the interests that control the zoo, the oil and gas lobby and oil and gas interests all over the world, connived with Bola Ahmed Tinubu and some Yoruba people because they want the presidency in 2023 to do the best they can to kill the story. But you cannot kill the truth. And the truth of the matter is that Jubril can never ever debate. Only two unscripted questions in a debate and he will fall apart. People will know he's from Sudan. That is why he will never ever participate in a debate. I don't know if we're okay. Are we going out at all? Very good. This evening, I will offer definitive clarity to remove whatever ambiguity that some of these Johnny-come-lately mischief makers may have introduced in their desperate attempts to dampen the spirit of our people. I want to state categorically that we, IPOB, we are boycotting the forthcoming elections, starting with the February 16th presidential elections. We are going to boycott it. Understand this very clearly. There will be no ambiguity. I know that some of you that pretend you are hardcore Biafrans that are working for APC and PDP. The APC want us to boycott because that way Jubril can rig himself back into power, or Abakari will rig Jubril back into power. And PDP want us to vote because P2B is the vice presidential candidate and they want Atiku to win. Understand this very well. And these political parties are washed with money, have come to Facebook and other social media platforms to recruit some of us who were previously shouting they're hardcore. Like the disgraceful bunch in Anambra that collected 3,000 naira from Obiano to go and vote. I saw the video clip. You were part of the 3% that voted in Anambra. And shame on all of you. A very big shame. We must proceed. Having said that, we must outline in great detail the reason why we are boycotting elections and why those governors responsible for the death of our people should not be allowed to continue in office. Dave Umahi and Okezip has killed our people not once, not twice, but repeatedly. The only reason why Operation Python Dance is more pronounced in Biafra land is because of the governors that you have. That is a fact. Nobody can deny that. Nobody can deny it. I don't want this IPOB that I lead not to be able to think critically. Is it because I left broadcasting for 4 years that we don't reason as we used to do before? Is it because I have not been preaching? Is that why we have forgotten how to reason properly as we used to do before? Anytime we want to agitate for Biafra, as we do every blessed day, what I mean to say is that anytime we want to take it up a little bit, our activities on the ground, Dave Omahi and his cohorts will arrange for the army to come and kill us. Some of you don't know this, but it's true. Dave Omahi gave a press interview where he acknowledged that Python Dance is working for him. Buratai said that Python Dance chased me away from Biafra land. All of you, you read it every blessed day, but you pretend that you don't read these things. If Dave Omahi is not there, will he be able to bring Python Dance? It's a very simple logic, Where are we going to operate? These are the men that banned our activities on the ground in Biafra land. That is why if they see you with a Biafran bangle, they arrest you and they call you a terrorist. Fulani headsmen are not terrorists. No Fulani Awasa governor has ever called for the labeling of Miyetti Allah as a terrorist group. Why can't you ask yourselves this question? Why is it that Operation Python Dance that was announced as a nationwide exercise has its footprint in Biafra land? Have you not seen their convoys all over the place? How do you think you can stop it from happening next time? You follow exactly what I tell you. Because I have never failed before and we can never fail now. Do exactly what I tell you to do and Biafra will come. We've been saying this from day one. Why is it that most people that claim they're fighting for Biafra cannot sustain the heat? Why? Why do you think they always find solace in gossiping and inboxing you all the time? Because they want to join IPOB and we said no, that they are saboteurs, they are traitors, they cannot come in. Don't you know that? Because they know what we are doing is correct. I don't want us to be seen as people who do not have the interest of IPOB at heart and the survival of this very great movement. Allow me to repeat, and I will keep saying it this evening throughout this very broadcast. We are boycotting the elections. Understand it. If you are incapable of making that distinction between our boycott of elections and the removal of Okezipas and Dave Omahi, then you're not worthy to be in IPOB. You must understand that very well. And as I have said before, and I'll keep saying it, there are people who are on my Facebook this evening, my Facebook page, and I said, rather than gossiping, give me your questions. It will be sent over here. Ikechukwu is here to read it. And I will answer it live on air. Do you know how many people we have lost since this Operation Python Dance threat started? Courtesy of Okezipas. Why is it there is this high level of kidnapping in Abia State and nowhere else? Kidnapping by DSS and the army. Who do you think is responsible? So after Okezipas might have finished colluding with the zoo army to massacre our people, somehow we allow him to walk back into office. What does that tell you about us? Of course, we said no elections, yes. But Okezipas did not allow the sleeping dog to lie. They brought, Okezipas and Dave Omahi brought destruction upon our people without repentance. And if we continue this way, very soon, I assure you, Ebonyi State will be like Kwara State, taken over by the Emirate. Dave Omahi is the modern version of Afonja. If you don't know, go and read about him. He was a Yoruba prince that invited the Fulani to come and help him fight his own brothers in Yoruba land. Today, the consequence of that is that Kwara State, Lauren, has an emir instead of an Oba. The same nonsense will happen in Ebonyi with the way that midget Omahi is going. I'm saying this, go and write it down somewhere. When it happens, people will tell you that there was a time when Nnamdi Kanu said the same thing on Radio Biafra. Is there anything that I've said before that hasn't come to pass? Is there anything that I have said to you that has never come to pass before? Do you think we are here to joke or to play? We are very serious about what we are doing. Very, very serious. If Dave Umahi and OKC Basu remains in office, believe you me, Ebonyi State will be like Kwara State. Do you know they have the largest Islamic secondary school in Ebonyi State? In the whole of Africa. Are you aware of that? Some of you do not know, but go and have a look for yourself. No, I don't want to get it wrong, in West Africa. Because Africa includes North Africa that are mainly or mostly Muslims. Go and check. Go to Afibo and see what is happening. Then you will understand the danger that Dave Umahi and Okezi Bazu pose to the survival of our race. They are evil and they must go. We are boycotting every election. Understand me very clearly. But Okezi Bazu and Dave Umahi must go because they are evil. Can you imagine somebody proudly announcing to the media that he's happy his people are being killed? That he's happy with what Operation Python is doing? A governor? Lord have mercy. A governor. And then you ask them, what did IPOB do? Oh, it's the way they talk. They carry the Biafran flag. They don't listen to their elders. But I'm older than some of you that claim your elders. And what have you accomplished since 50 years ago that the war ended? Absolutely nothing. All you do is to bow down before Fulani Caliphate, one after the other. When you finish, you introduce your brother. When you finish, you introduce Onyotimpuri to a Fulani man. Look at the way they were following Atiku and smiling like a he-goat. People without honor and dignity, which is what IPOB has come to restore in our people. There is nothing complex or complicated about this stance, unless some of us have very limited understanding of what is expected of us. Some of us don't have an understanding as to what our duties and responsibilities are. We are not going to vote, take that to the bank. But Okezi Bazu and Dave Umahi will not be there. Go and reconcile that in your brain and understand why I said that those two men must go. Because they have been killing our people. Anybody supporting them is in support of the slaughter of IPOB family members. You must understand this. And at the right time, they will pay for it very dearly. I see some people writing and asking us, oh, why don't we fight them? Why don't we go to war? But you are one of those that as soon as you lose an argument, you plan on how to leave the struggle and start your own, or start being a full-time professional saboteur and informant. Some of you make me laugh. You go into a debate with somebody. You know, that's the thing about, I don't want to talk about black people. That is something that is very unique to our people. That is why there is always 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 associations all the time. They break up. They divide into like an Amway, but they keep dividing into pieces all the time. Do you know why? When you lose an argument, you don't leave where you are. You go back, you study very hard, you come back, and perhaps win the next argument. Not when you when you lose an argument, you run away, you start throwing tantrums like a little baby, as if you're important, when clearly you're not. The only reason why some of you have any degree of relevance is because you attach yourselves to IPOB. Without IPOB, you are nothing. That is why for you to become relevant or talked about, you must talk about IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, Uchemefo, or who else you wish to discuss. Without mentioning my name, you are irrelevant. Nobody will know who you are. So that's how you draw traffic to yourself. That's all, if at all you do. If you lose an argument, go back and sharpen your skills and come back. IPOB was built on winning arguments. That is why we are the largest mass movement in the whole world by none. Because we know what we are doing. The evil APC federal government, Dave Umahi, Okezi Ikpeazu, and Willie Obiano, committed on unpardonable and unspeakable crime against the people of Biafra. And those of us at the front line of this very effort in Biafra land have had to endure wave after wave of murderous, Fulani-controlled Nigerian army invasion. The crimes they have committed are so heinous that we can never forgive Obiano, Ibazu, and Omahi. Never, ever, ever. Isn't it bizarre that Rochas Okorocha, do you know nobody died in Imo State? He locked up our mothers. Yes, of course, it's a very useless thing to do. But funny enough, Rochas Okorocha never gave the order for anybody to be killed. But we demonstrated in Owerri. I passed through Owerri many times. Isn't it bizarre that this half Fulani, half whatever he is, had the common sense to say nobody should open fire on IPOB? He's an Hausa man. But those that claim that they are Igbo, they are Biafrans, do you know what we saw during the war? Some of them were even 6 years old, and they're claiming they saw the war at the age of 6. What happened in Imo State goes to prove to you that if a governor doesn't want people to be killed, people will not be killed. Imo State is an example. That's all you need to know. We must proceed. If there is no day for Maya and Okezi, as I can assure you, there will be no more Operation Pattern Dance. Because people will now be afraid of IPOB. That if they do anything, IPOB will hold them accountable. You see, they took advantage of the fact that we boycotted Anambra elections. They said, okay, if you like, you can boycott. All they need to do is to gang up and decide who to give it to. Then settle the rest of the contest. That's what they did in Anambra State. That was why nobody contested the results. Obiano settled everybody. And they all went home. Because they had one simple agreement. On no account must IPOB take credit for the successful boycott of Anambra elections. That was what they did. So they decided amongst themselves that IPOB should not get the credit. For that, they said, okay, Obiano can take it, but settle us. And that was exactly what they did. That's what I want to do in Abia and also in Ebonyi. So Fulani men in Sokoto can be saying, yes, our boys are there in Abia and in Ebonyi. Look at the wishy-washy arguments of those defending Omahi. And you know how depraved they are. They assembled them. I knew when they called them together. It was last week, Wednesday. They called them together and asked them to float a new group, a new Igbo group. Gave them money. And as usual, you know, when you write a press statement, the media, they are bound to carry it. They sponsor a few press statements, and there you are. A new Igbo group says that anybody asking you not to vote is doing this to Igbo people and that to Igbo people. All these years we've been voting, what have we gotten? Nothing. Only wave after wave of killings. That is why we must ensure that those criminals are no longer in office. Constantly, they remind us of the horrors of the Biafra-Nigeria war. These same Fulani stooges in government houses across the east. Apparently, it is the unprovoked, murderous invasion of Biafra land by Nigerian soldiers at the instigation of Umahi and Okezi Bazu and Obiano that led to this period of sustained genocide against our people. They are the ones complaining. Oh, we suffered during the war, we died. But the same people called the same army that killed us during the war to come and kill us again. And they claim they love our people. How is that possible? The same army responsible for the slaughter of 5 million people, these governors claiming they love you, went and brought them again to kill our people. Very perverse. These same governors under Haneze invited this same Nigerian army 50 years after the same war they keep reminding us about to come and kill us. Because we have chosen the non-violent path of civil disobedience to accomplish our noble objective of the liberation of Biafra. It was these governors, aided by Yohannes Ndibo, that proscribed IPOB. They did it first. The Fulanis put pressure on them to proscribe, and they did. But they cannot put pressure on Fulani governors to proscribe Miyetti Allah. That is Fulani headsmen. No. Now do you begin to understand what I'm saying? So when they sponsor their praise statements or 4 people in a bar, in a Tombo bar drinking, they call them together. Oh, do you want to be an Igbo group? They say yes. They give them 500,000. Say, okay, God, issue a statement. Look for a name to call yourselves. And they do. The people that claim they love you cannot ask Fulani governors to proscribe Miyetti Allah, which is basically Fulani headsmen. They can't do it. They are afraid. They lack the power and the clout. They cannot, they dare not do it. Yoruba newspapers on one hand can never come out categorically to say that Miyetti Allah, what you're doing is not good. Because Yorubas are 50% Muslims. They will always obey Sokoto Caliphate. Always. These are facts you should be armed with. When you see the Yorubas cooperating with the Fulani people, don't be surprised, because the supreme religious leader of Muslims in Nigeria is the Sultan of Sokoto. So every Yoruba Muslim is loyal to the Sultan of Sokoto. That is why they will never love you. Only Yoruba Christians can. That is a fact of life. What I'm trying to say is that a sitting governor in Biafra land, in Devumahi, Obiano, and Ibazu, a sitting governor is happy. Devumahi said he is happy. Am I wrong? He said the other day that he's happy. The same sentiment was echoed by Buratai, that he's happy. Nigerian soldiers are killing his own people. What have we done wrong? We are only exercising our democratic rights to self-determination. These are the men that keeps teaching us about the horrors of the war. Every day they remind us, did you see the war? But you have brought the army to kill us. And you're asking us, we have seen war now. Haven't we? Did you not invade my house? A very cowardly army. I asked them. A cowardly army invading the home of a civilian that is unarmed. Are you not ashamed of yourselves? If Omahi is not in office, okay, Zibazo, there will be no Python dance. None whatsoever. I keep asking people, this Python dance 3 was announced as a nationwide exercise. Why are other areas not experiencing the level of kidnap, arrest, torture, and detention we are experiencing in Biafra? Do you know what people are going through in detention? Oh, some of these idiots yapping online, have you been in detention before? Have you been tortured before? No, you have not. But APC will come to you and tell you rubbish you write. You are dragging us all over the place. APC ideally would like us to boycott. PDP wants us to vote. But they know what we have before them. Give us a referendum date. That's all. And they can't do it. Instead of these talkatives to go and tell their political masters, go and meet IPOB. Give them their referendum so they can vote. They are busy writing rubbish. Talking, oh, we must vote. We need to vote. There is need for us to vote. When we decided not to participate in any elections in the zoo, we never foresaw that these legitimate rights to protest will be used as a pretext by Igbo governors to call for the slaughter of our people. We never knew. When I went to their meeting at Enugu, I told them I'm going to boycott unless you get me something from Abuja. Something I mean is not money, please. Something means a date for a referendum. They said no. The next thing I know is that they're killing our people. Operation Python Dance was launched and they're killing our people. They came to my house to kill me. We lost 28 men, in case you have forgotten. Some of you claim you're freedom fighters. You yap on Facebook for 2 or 3 hours and you disappear. Some of you, heaven knows, in Europe or in America, you think that by writing rubbish online, somehow you're aiding this very cause for Biafra. You don't contribute to our struggle. You have never protested before. You have done absolutely nothing. But you come, you keep shouting, all hail Biafra. And once you attract friends, up to 5,000 who are hardcore Biafrans, because we love people that profess love for Biafra, then you start to misbehave and start to write rubbish. You think you have arrived. You are nothing. Absolutely nothing. We will tell you we are IPOB. We raise you up and we bring you down. We decided not to participate in elections. They brought Operation Pattern Dance to us. Have you forgotten? Because of Anambra elections. Have you all forgotten? As every right-thinking person knows, IPOB remains the most peaceful liberation movement in the world. But the likes of Dave Umahi and Okezie Ikpeazu is constantly using their office as the chief security officer of the various states to unleash unprovoked terror on defenseless populations in our land. Some of you have forgotten. I keep reminding you this evening. I remember vividly the cold-blooded execution of those praying at National High School in Aba in 2016. I remember the bodies of those dumped in Boropit in Asa with acid all over their body. So it will be very hard for us to identify them. Can you imagine such cruelty? Not even Hitler tried such nonsense. Can you imagine the cruelty? They dumped people in a burrow pit. Some of them were shot in the leg or on their backs. Dumped inside the burrow pit and acid poured on their faces whilst they were still alive. To distort so you cannot, identify them very easily. That happened under the watch of Okezie Ikpeazu, no inquiry, nothing. And you want me to allow him to go back to government house? Your brain is not correct. You're not well in the brain. You're not well. But I'll remind all of you why I said Okezie Ikpeazu must leave. I would need to remind all of you, one after the other, the horrors, the abomination, and the iniquities of Okezie Ikpeazu. You must know this. Because everything we do here on IPOB is well calculated. You must understand it. These heinous crimes against our land, IPOB, and humanity, we are committed under the watch of Okezie Ikpeazu in Abia State. This senseless slaughter of those peacefully agitating for the freedom of Biafra all happened even before the brutal invasion of my compound on the 14th of September 2017, which perversely Okezie Ikpeazu is now blaming Ojo Zokalo. Of course, none of them is guilt-free. But one at a time, we are holding Okezie Ikpeazu responsible because he is the one in power at this very moment. But the time for the others will come, and the world will hear it when it comes. I know some of you are very impatient. You want us to launch into armed struggle immediately. You can't even sustain ordinary campaign. You can't even come out to protest. But you want us to go to war. So after 2 days, you say, oh, they led us to war, and now it has led to the Islamic or jihadi invasion of our land. I know some of you and the way you reason. Just go and collect your money from APC or PDP politicians, and maybe after February, you will go and sit down and stop talking rubbish online. The fact remains that Okezie Ikpeazu, as the chief security officer of his state, is the only person uniquely positioned to authorize such military raid. Not Ojo Zokalo, who left office 16 years ago. He may have had sentiment towards it, saying go and invade. But you're the one who is in power. Okezie Ikpeazu, did you or did you not receive stolen goods from my house being handed over to you when the IG of police came to Tor Omwai after the invasion of my house? Did you or did you not receive stolen goods from my house given to me by IPOB from all over the world? Your conscience shall judge you. We have not. Some of you may have, but not me. Forgotten the dead bodies we found at Okwa. When was it last year? We discovered dead bodies in Okwa. Dead bodies in a forest. Some of you have forgotten. You have forgotten. You don't want to fight for their honor and their dignity. You have all forgotten. The fact remains that Dave Umahi and Okezi Bazo are at the forefront of this latest invasion. I was told that people were listening to us and they have scrambled the system. Our radio is being jammed, and I want us to make sure that we correct this very issue immediately. I received a message from Olu right now, so I need to confirm that Olu is working, please. What Okezi and Dave Umahi are doing was exactly what Afonja did to the Yoruba race. If we allow Dave Umahi and Okezi to continue in office, Ebonyi State will become a Fulani enclave within 4 years, and Abia State within 6 years. I don't know if any of you has been on Enugu Iguacha Expressway around Lob. Have you seen what Fulani people are doing there? How was Fulani are doing there? You have seen it before, but some of you pretend you've not seen it. The hold up there will keep you waiting for 3 hours at Lokba. After Okigwe, if you're heading towards Enugu, is there. Some of you pretend you don't see it. They are converting Abia State as well. If you see what is happening there, you will appreciate the enormity of the damage these governors have done in our land. They have taken treachery and betrayal of their people to a new height. They will never be content until their blind subservience to caliphate domination reduces us to slaves, all of us, in our own land. These are the issues at stake, and why we must sit at home and not venture out to vote on the February 16th. We sit at home. We take it one at a time. The presidential election, we sit at home, we don't go anywhere. The world will know we are serious about. Do you think people don't take notice of what we are doing? Is that what you think? International protocol prohibits governments from coming out to say what Nigeria is doing is not very good. Do you know what they are telling us about the situation in the zoo? Some of you don't know. And it is not in my position to divulge confidential information. If you know, you know. After all, Biafra is a movement led by those who are informed in spirit. That is why we are formidable. That is why we are very strong. And that is why we shall remain strong until Biafra is restored. Biafra is not a piece of cake to restore overnight. Because the number of saboteurs you have now, including those born to our fathers after the war, is almost 10 times what it was between 67 and 70. And it cost us dearly. But we can never allow them to succeed. Never, ever are we going to allow them to succeed. There are people who think it is their duty to go about peddling lies. But they can never, ever succeed. Never. Not now, not tomorrow, not ever. There is no other region across the zoo called Nigeria where sitting governors ganged up to invite the army to kill their own people. Only in our place. Only in our place. This is the most critical question of our time. Why is it that a known terrorist group like Fulani herdsmen that butcher and sack communities in broad daylight are not considered worthy of being targets of military operation? But we, peaceful IPOB, we must continue to ask these questions, always and consistently. Has anyone seen or heard of such an anomaly before, where a known terrorist group enjoys the protection of the army, whereas peaceful protesters are massacred at will with no attending consequences? How can we vote for the president of a country where terrorists are held and treated with kid gloves while peaceful, non-violent movement is labeled a terrorist group? We have this warped sense of reasoning in the zoo because that part of the world is littered with people who are steeped in evil. And the politicians they have connive with the enemy to kill civilians. Till date, Nobody can point to any targeted military offensive against Fulani killing machine that is the Miyetti Allah. Fulani headsmen are all over the place. But Igbo governors and Abuja Iran boys are busy doing their damn best to demonize IPOB. If you feel what we are passing through in Nigeria is not acceptable, then we must boycott the presidential elections on the 16th of February. The whole world is watching, and for those who may argue that our boycott will return Jubril to power, should be guided by our simple demand. If you want us to vote, then you must address the conditions we have set out before you. All of you, it's not hidden. We boycotted Anambra governorship elections 2017 to very good effect, and our enemies know. They know the whole world will be watching to ascertain if we Biafrans are serious or not. If Awolowo, as I tweeted earlier today, if Awolowo can use boycott of federal elections to good effect in 1964, so too can IPOB in 2019. Nobody can tell me till date why they brought Operation Python Dance again to commence this latest round of intimidation, abductions, detention without trial, and torture. The arrest and detention of IPOB family members was made possible by Igbo governors, Dave Umahi and Okezie Ibazu. As I said earlier, all contestants in November 2017 Anambra elections agreed that IPOB boycott will be disregarded. They accepted the emergence of Obiano as a way to diminish the impact of our successful boycott. They know it succeeded. That is from Burata, isn't it? I've been handed something from Burata. It's all over the place. Python Dance 2 drove away Nnamdi Kanu from Southeast. Burata declares. I don't know, do we actually follow the news at all? I don't think we do sometimes. We have no interest, let me declare. We have no interest in Nigerian elections. But it will be very foolish of me to allow men that organize Python Dance not once, not twice, over and over again. Anytime we go out to evangelize, they announce Python Dance. All the time, Python Dance. We can't allow them to live in peace. That I can assure you. There are certain privileged information and facts which are not in the public domain, which if some of you were to know them, you would understand why we must boycott all elections, but ensure the removal of Okezie, Azu, and Umahi. That is not tantamount to voting. I did not ask any of you. So when you're going back and forth, lying to yourselves, that I said we are going to vote, you're dreaming. Some people were arguing, but how do you intend to remove Ibazu and Dave Umahi? My answer is very simple. Watch and see for yourselves. Watch and see. Let me tell you all what you don't quite know. Let me tell you all something that you don't quite know. I was reading something that the deputy sent in through Ikechubu about Python Dance. They're designed to kill me. Ask any of them. Before you decided to come and kill me, do I know who you are? Have I met you before? Have I had a telephone conversation with you before? The answer is no. I don't know who Okezie Ibazu is. I've not seen him before. I've never met him before. But he was comfortable inviting army to come and kill me and my parents and my siblings in my own house. I did nothing to him. Nothing. Ask Nyanwodo, what did I do to you? That you asked the army to come and kill me. Ask Dave Umahi the same thing. The funniest thing is that I actually visited Dave Umahi in Abakaliki. We had a very cordial discussion and relation. I mean, I would call it a relationship, so to speak. He spoke very well. But I didn't know he wanted me dead as well. But we are laughing and smiling, eating at Enugu government house. And I explained to them that what I am doing is for the good of everybody. I'm not asking you to give me more. Don't give me anything. Go and bring something for our people who have been long suffering. Do something for them. That's what I said. Do something for our people. And they said, because of that, we're going to kill you. They arranged with Fulani men to storm my house to kill me. And they killed 28 of us. Remember those men, those gallant men that fell. The conspiracy and gang up against Biafra amongst politicians is such that they conspired to impose my stringent bail conditions during my bail hearing in order to silence me. This may come to some of you as a shock. Some Igbo politicians actually ganged up and told Binta and Yako to include the clause that a senator should bail me. Do you know it is actually against the law in Nigeria for a senator to bail somebody? They did it because they wanted the senators to control me. And when I said no, they said, oh, he doesn't keep to agreements. Today, our most honorable senator, Abaribe, has filed as part of the appeal against the ruling of Binta Nyeko at the Federal Appeal Court in Abuja that he should be excused from being my shorty for the very valid reason that he should not have been mentioned in the first place or required to stand shorty for me, because senators are precluded from standing shorties for people. I hope what I'm saying is flowing. Do you understand what I'm saying? It was Igbo men. It was Igbo politicians that ganged up and said, let us not ask for his release. If they are going to release him, please make sure you hand him over to us so he can be under us. And when I left prison, I went to the house of Ike Kuremadu. I've said this before. They hosted me at the Kuremadu's house. We had dinner. But I told them I couldn't, in all honesty, not speak to the media. That's all. They didn't like the fact that I was attending rallies. If I pass through where it will shut down. Anyway, I go through, the place will come to a standstill. They were jealous, just simple, you know, an Igbo man and jealousy. Just like those that want to be coordinators on Facebook. You know, when you try to break into IPOB hierarchy, and we say no, you get upset, and you start castigating IPOB. But you can never be us. Never, ever, ever. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. Simple jealousy, driving most people. But what impact will it have? Absolutely nothing. No impact whatsoever. We were here when you came, we were here when you leave, and we'll continue marching forward. A senator is not meant to be a shorty, according to the laws of Nigeria. But they included this condition so they can subsume me under politicians. They wanted our activities to be controlled by politicians, but I said no. That's why they are gossiping all over the place. He doesn't keep to agreement. Yes, I don't, because you cannot control IPOB. Amubegi, who are you? Do you know what IPOB stands for? Do you know what IPOB is around the whole world? They cannot control us. Biafrans must understand what we are facing on a daily basis and should be prepared to follow instructions as given. One after the other. Here in IPOB, you do what you're told to do and you will see the positive results in less than no time. Do you know what it means for a whole country to plan an operation nationwide because of a group of people? That is how strong IPOB is. Some of you don't know this. We are the only people they are afraid of. Only IPOB, no other human being. You must understand this. Where are these gossipers when we paid 40 million to secure the release of our people? Cash. Have you heard of that before? You abduct somebody from his house, you take him to prison. There is no prima facie case, nothing. You cannot prosecute the case for 2 years. And you ask the person to pay 20 million before they leave jail. IPOB raised 40 million and paid. Ask some of these yappers and rubbish talkers on Facebook, where were you? How much did you contribute to release our people from jail? Nothing. We paid it. We paid it. When we announced the boycott of Anambra elections, we did so with the belief that they will leave us alone. But they will not leave us alone. They will never ever leave us alone. Our determination to boycott the general elections on the 16th of February is sacrosanct. And as I said before, and I will continue to say it, if our demands are met, I will come on Radio Biafra and tell the whole world about it. As simple as that. If not, we'll boycott. All those peddling the rumor that I've asked our people to vote are evil and mischievous. There is a saying where we come from, for those of us that grew up in the village, or should I say for those of you that grew up in the village, with me, as I did. That is why I said sometimes that in our culture, living in the township can be very, very detrimental to the well-being of a person. As our people no longer know what is an adage or a proverb. They don't understand. I said, let me repeat, I threw a challenge to politicians and I said, if you claim you are genuine about fighting for Biafra, because some of our brothers have been making the claim that we should vote in federal elections, people are entitled to their views and their opinions. I respect that. You have your own views, I respect it. Also respect mine. And defeat me with a superior argument. They said that we should engage in federal elections, senators and House of Reps and whatever it is that comes with it. And I said, if they want us to vote for them, to go to Abuja to represent us, they should come out and declare openly that they support what IPOB is doing. It is called a challenge. And some of you that daft that you don't understand what a challenge is, a challenge I know they can never meet. Some of you actually took that to mean that I asked you to go and support politicians. Anyway, zoo education. Akunuba strike for four and a half years. You go to school for 6 months, and then you write your term paper and you come out a graduate. You can't even spell your own name. Very sad indeed that you can no longer reason. I can no longer speak to you in proverbs or in adage, no more. That's how sad it has become. A simple challenge. Somebody construed that to mean that I said you can play. I feel sorry for some of you and the school that you went to be honest. A simple challenge to those seeking political office to openly declare for Biafra if they need our support is not tantamount to endorsement of Nigerian elections, but rather a demonstration of the limitations of the capacity of these politicians to side with their people in times of crisis. Very simple. While Buratai is dancing around my house, patrolling in my village, Isama Farouk, Boko Haram attacking his village. Do you see the irony of the whole nonsense? 6 people killed in his village. While he's busy perambulating around Isama Farouk, my compound, Boko Haram are doing damage. But Igbo politicians will not stand up and say, oh, let us send Operation Patton Crocodile 8 to the north. Never. They will never say it. Because they are cowards. The only place they find solace is, oh, come and attack them. Come and attack them. They want to break up Nigeria. Come and kill them. Therefore, saying that he's glad IPOB are being killed. Therefore, there is something called Onsala where we come from, an abomination against the land. In those days, someone like Dave Umahi will be escorted to the back of the house and buried alive because he's evil. But people still support him. He has pressmen that write rubbish and give to the media. Dave Umahi and Okezi Ipazu is directly responsible for the current kidnapping and siege in our land. Those 2 men, evil men. No, Biano is evil. He thinks he has gotten away scot-free, but no. They will all pay very dearly for it. Don't allow idiots to get into your brain because we are boycotting the elections. Understand it very clearly. Understand it very, very clearly. Simple as that. We owe it as a duty to our fallen heroes and victims of Operation Pattern Dance that the 2 men most responsible for their death are not returned to power. And let me be very honest with you. If we had known that they would bring another Python dance, we would have removed Obiano from office. I'm being very honest. If we had known that they would continue to bring army to continue killing us, we would have removed Obiano from office. That's a fact. So if they kill everybody, how would you know? Well, who is going to fight Biafra for you? You are online chatting rubbish as always. As always. So if you're in Biafra and you lose an argument, you go and form your own country. You have your own autonomous Biafran republic in your village because you lost an argument. Just imagine. They go behind your back, they go and collect recharge card money from politicians. They think they can destroy IPOB, but they are dreaming. Baby saboteurs and new recruits into the cult of betrayal should know that when we started, little did we know that our governors and politicians would be so hostile towards our freedom. I never dreamt in my life. I know they can come out and say, we don't support you, but to be bringing, every 6 months, there's one operation or the other going on in our land to kill us. The people that we're fighting for, the same people that we are fighting for, they have come to kill us. And somebody has the temerity to say, our elite, our political leaders. A murderer is your political leader. The mistake that people made was not to take out Obabi Asika after the war when they made him the governor of administrator of East Central State. He was a traitor and a saboteur. He was an investor of Ibadan. But he was writing all manner of rubbish against our leader, Ojugu. All these rats you see online that claimed before they were part of IPOB but now talking rubbish, some of them, of course, spurred out of jealousy because of what Colonel Mwobosi said when he handed power over to me. That's exactly what Obabi Asika did during the war. That was what, sadly, Chubo Okadibo did during the time of Nnamdi Azikiwe. And that was what a lot of them has done ever since in Ohaneze. They go and castigate their own people in the hope of attracting some kind of stipend from politicians. That's what they do. Very sad indeed. There are traitors in our midst. And we must be very, very careful of these people, because they are more now in number than they ever were between 67 and 70. A Biafran is the easiest person to convert to become a saboteur. And I will tell you why. Because they don't know the difference between healthy competition, envy, and jealousy. Some of you dream to be part of the leadership of IPOB, but you can never be. Some of them wait and wait and wait, and when we don't invite them to come and join the leadership, they turn around and start writing rubbish. That's what you see online. Very sad indeed. We have more traitors today than the leadership experience between 67 and 70. We must be very careful of those that write beautiful about IPOB. They are only positioning themselves to be known within the struggle. After a while, that's what they all do. We know them. They think they have collected enough followers, then they can flex their muscle. We've seen all of you before. We have seen all of you before. On this issue of boycott, you must understand this. There are those who would like us to boycott elections, those in APC. They're the ones saying, oh, but you said you're going to boycott. You must. I could go home, but I've collected money to pressure us to boycott. Understand this. Because if we boycott, everybody knows that Jubilee will win. There are those in PDP saying, oh, you must not boycott. What you're doing is a disservice to our people. You're enemy of the people by asking us to boycott. They're in PDP. They want to win. So, of course, I don't envy our position. I don't at all. It's a very difficult one. But we are going to boycott the election, as I said. And we must. for the world to know how serious we are. They are not contributing to the debate based on principled reasons, as we have been espousing, but to serve the selfish interest of Nigeria's political parties. APC wants us to boycott, PDP wants us to vote. You see them, they won't tell you that who they are. All these years they've been acting all hail Biafra, we are hardcore, all hail Biafra, publishing Biafra photos. You don't know they are waiting for now to strike. And that's what they've been doing. They want to become relevant, but don't know how to go about it. Of course, this election period, and some of these fake Biafrans, like the caliphate slaves that they serve, see it as an opportunity to make money. Their aim is to undermine this great family by subtly, very subtly, planting doubts in the minds of those who are very feeble. Someone said, "Oh, the director said we should vote." Others say, "The leader said we should go and vote." Are you deaf? Are you deaf? I said we are boycotting. Are you not hearing me? Oh dear me. You know, they write very cleverly. You think that, and anyway, but what I love is that they cannot write in their own names anymore. The old guard of baby saboteurs, they can no longer write. They always find solace in fake Facebook accounts to be writing rubbish. They can't come out openly anymore because we know who they are. They can't. And if they don't mention Nnamdi Kanu, IPOB, they are irrelevant. Nobody wants to read from them. Nobody wants to hear them. Nobody. So all they do is they save up a bit of money. Maybe I think it's about 7,500. They pay a journalist. And then you sandal slippers. Or tie. They pay a journalist 7,500. Oh, please write her. We have something to say against IPOB. It's going to make headline news. Write it. Then we'll take money from them, put it and write something. Oh, this group opposed IPOB on this, so that politicians can notice them. It's a very simple game now. You don't know. If I come online and I'm saying, "Oh, I'm IPOB, I'm hardcore," and I collect a large following, very simple. One day I begin to criticize IPOB and to attract attention from politicians. I try to go back and give you money. That's how it's done. That is how it is done. Abba is working. Our CHK. Those of you going through Abba, announcing that I had called off the elections, all of you, you liars and workers of iniquity. You know me, Mpomad is final. Ask saboteurs. What became of them? We are going to boycott elections, stop this, focus on it, evangelize, and make sure we lock down Biafra on the 6th of February. Very simple. Lock it down completely, that the world may know that we are serious. These traitors, they come in, they pretend like a chameleon. Oh, we are all help Biafra, we are hardcore, we are going to do this. They cultivate your attention over the years and nurture it, only waiting for the right time to sell their soul to the devil. But we know who they are, and they can never succeed. So if you're going to quote me from this night onwards, tell the world what I said, that we are boycotting the elections. As simple as ABC. Would you understand that? Don't say it because I'm here with you. Is what I'm saying making sense to you? Nobody in their right mind will want to see Okezibazo back in office or Dave Umahi. If you do, that means you don't understand what freedom fighting is all about. I mean, here could be a robber. You must understand that. They have killed our people. And it is my duty as the leader of IPOB to ensure that everybody involved, or all those involved in the killing of our people, is brought to book. And we are doing it. There's another thing we're going to tell you. I thank you all very much for listening. But we're not going to go off. Ikechukwu, I need questions from you. What are people saying? What are they actually saying? I want to hear it. What they are saying. What are they saying? I want to hear, and I want to answer the questions.
All right. Good evening, great Biafrans and wonderful people. Of course, this is a live presentation of Radio Biafra, and we are live, we are direct with the supreme leader of the indigenous people of Biafra. Of course, the enemies are working tirelessly to twist what our leader has been saying. But as you know, we are IPOB. We are not moved. We are not shaken. And this evening, we are here to shred all their lies and, of course, allow Biafrans to understand where we stand as far as boycotting election is concerned. And our leader is here to do just that. All right. Mazi, the first question is this. How are we going to defend our land? Now, this person is asking about something entirely differently, yes. But of course, on referendum, actually. It's asking, how are we going to defend our land on the day of the referendum if the Zoo army decide to attack us?
Yes, thank you very much. What's the name of the person who asked the question? Do you know?
All right, no, yes, sir.
It is not something that I'm going to tell you on air because they will know. But I can assure you that during the period leading up to our referendum, they will announce Operation Pattern Dance 5. Because there will be another Operation Pattern Dance before that very one. They will announce it. That's what they will do, to try and stop us. But we have devised a very clever way of distributing our ballot papers and collecting them. That will make it almost virtually impossible for them to intercept. They may get one or two, but eventually the results will be collected and announced. And that's what we're working towards. It's a very brilliant question, but I cannot tell you what we're going to do live on air. That was part of the problem why I said that we couldn't have held referendum last year, because I want to be able to oversee it myself. And believe you me, it's going to work. Next question.
All right. Actually, the person who asked this question, his name is Samuel King from Ohafia.
Samuel King.
That's right.
Thank you very much.
All right. So moving to the next question. There has been a lot of misunderstanding, and this is not coming from IPOB because we were direct on what we are saying. But now, trusting the Yoruba Gota media journalists and some saboteurs in our land, they have gone ahead to begin to campaign to twist what we have been saying here on this platform. Now, this person is asking, are we to vote in Ebonyi State and Abia?
I said, no. They will be removed from office. When the campaign starts, which we've not started, to remove them, the world will know what we're going to do. And they will be told. Because our enemies are very, very resourceful. They want me to announce on air how we are going to do it. I think that is the problem. But I will not tell them how we're going to do it. When the time comes, we shall tell the people how to respond to it. After all, if I say we're going to vote, another group will rise up and say, hey, but you don't have PVC. You know, these people, they're very, very clever. Very clever. But we know how to cure them. When the time comes, we shall give instructions as to what to do. Right now, we focus on the 16th of February, presidential elections, and the boycott of it.
All right, dear friends, you have heard it live and direct on this platform. And we always said, if you did not hear it on Radio Biafra, then it does not exist. If you go around listening to people on Facebook or all the medias or whatever, of course, you are not doing yourself a favor. So it has been said, we will tell you how it is going to happen. But the bottom line is, Umahi and Okezi Bazu must be removed from office. There is no two ways about it. Okay, moving on to the third question. And this person says, he is listening from us from Afipo North local government in Ebonyi province. And he said that people are saying that our leader said, should we vote out Okezi Bazu and Umahi of Ebonyi?
I will tell them what to do when we get closer to the time, because if I tell you what we're going to do now, the zoo will circumvent it. They will develop an antidote for it. You know, they have the resources and they have enough saboteurs within our midst. So we know what we're going to do. When the time comes, we shall tell you. But Ebonyi State, they are the enemy, number one enemy of the people, because they are murderers, they are killers, and they are boasting. They kill, they kidnap, they torture, and they're boasting. Very sad indeed.
All right, so dear friends, you have heard it once again, and we are still saying the same thing. And all you have to do is to keep listening to Radio Biafra. Of course, you know we preach nothing but the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And of course, when the time comes, we will tell you how this will be done. For now, let's focus on the 16th of February presidential election, which we are going to boycott 120% if there's anything like that. All right, let's go to the next one. And of course, it appears that the whole question here is all about, should we vote or should we not vote? And of course, we have answered that. Okay, let me see the last one.
That is what the governors, they want to hear. That's what the governors want to hear. How is he going to do it? You know that they are listening to me right now, wondering how are they going to do it. But we are not going to tell them. But we shall remove them from office. As simple as that.
All right, we are IPOB and we know how to surprise our enemies. We don't tell them how it happens, but when the time comes, we will tell them how it happens. Just like our leader will always say. All right, let's go to the number 5, and of course, this appears to be the last one. And this person is basically saying, what I want to say is this. Should we boycott every election, both presidential and governorship? My reason is this. We do not have PVC to vote, and we've been saying PVC is useless. And somebody like me do not have PVC. So what shall we use to vote? Of course, it comes to the same thing.
And I will answer the question. Do we agree that some people actually have PVC in our land? Let me tell you one thing that people don't quite understand. There was a time when if you don't have PVC, you will not collect your salary. If you don't have PVC, there will be no BVN for you. Everybody with their PVC in our land is an indigenous person of Biafra and will do as told on that very day, unless some of you that specialize in selling your votes will go and, of course, do the same thing that some of you did in Anambra State, which is to sell your vote to somebody. But that day we shall boycott. And as I said, we are going to tell you exactly how we will do it. We are boycotting every election. But we shall remove Okezi Bazu and Dave Omai. As simple as that.
All right, Mazi, and the next one is this. This person is simply asking this question. And of course, this whole thing still comes to the issue of whether we should or we shouldn't do so. But of course, we understand that this has been, the live.
We are going to boycott elections. As simple as that. Every election will be boycotted. As simple as that. But we will remove Okezi Bazu and Dave Omahi. You want me to tell the zoo exactly how we're going to do it live on air? So they can go and counter it? No, I won't.
All right, dear friends, let's recap on this. Our leader said unequivocally that we are going to boycott all the elections in Biafra land, of course, starting from the presidential election. Now, when it comes to the gubernatorial election, you have to keep on listening to Radio Biafra, and then we will tell you how we are going to do it. But for now, there is nothing yet to give out. But the bottom line is we are boycotting. All right, Mazi, the last one, of course, this person said, Mazi, that day, of course, we should be sitting at home. Can you recommend to us what soup we'll be cooking that day? Is it okazi or ofensala?
It's okazi. I know that some people don't eat okazi because on a charge more. There are some people who don't eat okazi because it drives away evil spirit. It's okazi that very. I know some people are not used to it, but it's very good. It's very good source of fiber, so to speak. It's very good. It's okazi. We'll cook on that very day. If you can, you put achara in it. If not, then just okazi will do.
All right, so from ofensala, we are moving to okazi. So if you know how to cook it, you better get ready. If you don't know how to cook it, begin to prepare and learn how to do so, because that day it will be total shutdown, total lockdown, because we want to tell them who owns the land. Biafra land belongs to us and power belongs to the people. Of course, the people are the people of Biafra. Maz, I think that is all I have this evening for you with regards to the question.
Thank you very much. I was expecting far more difficult questions, but as always, they will not come up when I'm live on air. And of course, I'm prohibited from responding directly to people on social media. So I have this to say before we bring today's broadcast to an end. That we are boycotting all elections. And I had hoped very sincerely that some people will make reference to the senseless and relentless slaughter of our people by Dave Umahi and Okezi Bazu. But it seems people are preoccupied with voting rather than being concerned about those who fell. Maybe I feel sentimental towards them because I have seen men die. And I myself came close to being shot to death myself. So you will forgive me if I remember them a lot. Not just when I preach on air, but also in my prayers. Because it is important that we remember those that fought and fell for us to ensure that Biafra comes. And on that very note, this very evening, I ask you to remain resolute and remain determined. Do not waver, because Biafra must come. And most of us will live to see Biafra. But traitors cannot see Biafra, not now, not tomorrow, not ever. May Chukwuka Abiyama bless, sustain, guide, and keep each and every one of you until next weekend. From me, from here, it is good night.